In this video series, I wanted to cover over all the different machines that I use as a maker and an artist. The machines that I use 4 different types of machines. I use a Cricut Maker, a 3D printer, laser cutter, and a CNC. And I kind of give a rating system as well as to what's the easiest machine to use, what's the hardest machine to use. So each video will consist of its own ratings and what I think about it. So I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Follow, like, and support. I would appreciate a lot. Thank you so much. Cricut Maker, and who is it for? The Cricut Maker is for anyone who is starting crafts that is mainly dealing with 2D. You can do 3D things, but you'll have to really plan it out. You don't have to stick with one color, but it makes it easier if your design is all in one color. If you want to make wearables and put it on t-shirts or thin leatherworks, then this would be the machine for you. And then hobbyists or home crafters, professional businesses can do it as well, but I would expect them to buy a professional vinyl cutter for that. How do you set up and use the Cricut Maker? To be able to use the Cricut Maker, you're going to need a table space or an area big enough for the Cricut Maker to sit on. It's going to be about 24 inches wide. The depth is not too thick, but you're going to need something for it to at least sit on, for the piece of paper to move back and forth while it's scrolling on its wheels. Before you can do that though, you will need artwork in order to insert it into the software, the Cricut design space that Cricut actually uses, and it will feed that into the machine and it will cut it out based on how you set it up. Though before we could cut out any artwork at all, there needs to be artwork. The example file that I use is an artwork that I created in Adobe Illustrator. You can also use Inkscape, which is free. I choose to use Adobe Illustrator just because I've been using it for so long. And once you have this, you save it as an SVG file, PNG or JPEG. The Cricut design space can read all 3, and you upload the files into the design space. Once uploaded, then you can choose whether to cut it or print and cut, but ultimately you will be telling the Cricut Maker what to do with your artwork. The Cricut design space is intuitive for any level. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but you'll find everything you'll need on the left hand side, top toolbar, and the right hand side. Once you have everything where you want it to be, you can press save and make it, the green button. Once you do, then the maker screen will show up and it'll tell you what kind of materials to use, how much pressure you want to put. You can put more or less. And then once you choose your material and your pressure, then you can press OK and it'll tell you to press the up down button. And it'll indicate because it'll be flashing on your Cricut Maker, not on the screen. The Cricut Maker has a top lid and the side front lid. You just open those two and they'll just pop up automatically. Turn on the power button and then it will calibrate and make sure everything's okay. And once it's okay, everything's ready to go. If you're already hooked up on the computer, then you're ready to go. The vinyl that I'm using is a permanent vinyl and it has a non-stick backing. You want the non-stick backing to stay on. If you don't have it on, it's going to be really hard for you to transfer it off of there. The non-stick backing is for you to be able to peel it off of the cutting mat after you're done. Once you see the flashing light of the up-down button, you're going to make sure the cutting mat is butt up against the rollers and then you're going to press it. This will feed the cutting mat into the machine, and the machine will read and ready itself. Once it's ready, the C will be blinking, and that is the button you press to initiate the cutting. Once you press it, you can sit back and relax until it's done. But like I've mentioned before, if you have a really intricate design, you might have to wait minutes. Once it's finished, you'll see the up-down arrow blinking. Press that arrow and it will outfeed the cutting mat and free it up. That's how the finished cut looks like after it comes out of the Cricut. What I'm doing is I'm slicing it into a square so that I could easily take it and then put my masking tape on there. I'm going to use masking tape as my transfer tape because I don't have transfer tape at the moment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the non-stick backing, and once I do that, I'm going to start weeding my artwork as well. For this, it's not super intricate, so I'm not too worried about weeding so many little pieces. A lot of pieces are all in one, and it only takes me about a couple seconds. So I'm applying my vinyl decal onto my water bottle just as an example so that you can see what applications it can be used for. For this one, I'm going to be using my water bottle, and it'll peel nicely because the permanent vinyl is really sticky and it's going to stay there for a long time. So the pros and cons. Pros: number one, it's easy to work with. Number two, you got a 12 by 12 inch, so 1 square foot of area to cut material. You get a small footprint. This machine doesn't have any other sizes. And then the cons: it's a little bit expensive for such a small cutting area. And then number two, it doesn't cut thicker than a 1/16 of an inch. This limits you for what kind of materials you can use. Cost of effectiveness, it's going to be about 7 out of 10. It's a little spendy for such a small machine in a small area footprint of what it can do. Ease of use, I'm going to say it's going to be 8 out of 10. Learning the software will take time for anybody who is not tech savvy. For setup, it's going to be about 9 out of 10 because of installation of software, and setting up the machine will take some time to learn as well. And here's just a little bit more examples of what the Cricut Maker can do. Please enjoy until the next segment.